Ah,
Hi, Klay. How was the scrimmage today, and what did you think of how Steph looked?
it felt good to play, and Steph looked like himself, and he just gives everybody a lift, just his presence on the court. So it was great to have him out there.
What are your early impressions of this matchup now that you guys have kind of dug in a game plan?
They're a good team with a great player in Nikola. So it will be a fun series, and I'm really looking forward to being back in the playoffs.
You mentioned Jokic. You've game planned for so many series over the years. Is this different than anyone you have with, like, center running the offense, just kind of the way they play?
Yeah. Yeah, it's different. I'm used to playing, teams where guards are leading the way, but with a center being the focus of their offense, it's definitely different.
Jamal Murray, I think almost exactly a year ago was when he tore his ACL here at Chase Center. Still don't know if he's coming back or not. And it's being said that he's just trying to get over a lot of mental hurdles with coming back from an injury like that. What were those mental hurdles like for you? I think you've talked to Jamal over his process while you guys are both kind of coming out of injuries. Do you just kind of have that like understanding of what he's going through, especially when it comes to wanting to be available for playoffs?
Mentally, the hurdles would be probably just taking off and landing, and being free-minded when cutting and running and jumping. You don't want to revisit that moment where he did tear his ACL. So you do a lot of mental training, and you talk to somebody. You talk to a lot of people, actually, and I know Jamal has an incredible future in front of him, and whether he comes back Saturday or beginning next season, I think everyone expects him to start where he left off and just being one of the better guards in the league.
Do you like being in the position where before, you guys were considered kind of a machine, expected to win the championship? This year, there's a lot more mystery. And like Andre was saying yesterday, there could be 5 or 6 teams that could win it. Do you like being in the position where, okay, there's some challenges here?
Yeah, I like a challenge. And, I still have the same expectation as I did before, and that's to win a championship. And it's up to us it's right there for us. We know how hard it is. And it's a different time, but nothing's ever the same. So you just got to embrace the opportunity ahead, and it's a great one.
What do you think are the things you guys will do that will dictate whether you can go all the way?
Yeah. Obviously, health is a huge factor. I think our depth this year is incredible. We have so many players who can win us a ball game any given night. And then lastly, I think we're going to definitely have to win some playoff games on the road. Probably a lot of those.
I think we all knew what you've been through to get back on the court and play at a high level, and now you're just about to return to the playoffs. What is that like for you emotionally?
Oh man, it's an incredible feeling, and it's something I'm just trying to enjoy every single day, even the scrimmage day, even just being in the arena. And waking up and going to work is so easy this time of year because the playoffs are the pinnacle of our profession, and having to watch the last 2 years was no fun. So I'm very eager to be out there again, and so is our team, and to open up at home in front of our incredible crowd is another feeling that gives me just so much joy. And it's hard to put into words how excited I really am. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Klay, how do you feel like you're progressing defensively, and how has that process specifically on that side of the ball been for you?
It's hard. I mean, um, guarding the NBA players is not an easy task, and I think I'm getting to where I want to be. It's not a linear progression. You know, there will be ups and downs. I know this, so I just got to keep sticking with it, just like I did on the offensive side of the ball. And I think I will be an incredibly effective defender one day. It's just going to take time, just like it did to find consistency making shots. Defense is hard, and it's hard to stop these incredible athletes. So it's a challenge I'm not afraid of, and I know the playoffs will bring the best out of me.
Would you say the progress on the defensive side has even been a little bit harder than the offensive side? And why do you think that is?
I mean, big reason is the injuries I went through. Obviously, you lose a lot of muscle and fast twitch capabilities during the rehab, so I've had to build those back up. Prior to those, I was able to just play nightly and play with incredible energy. So I'm getting that back. I just know that that just doesn't happen over 30 games or whatever. That's going to take a lot of high level games. And then I think, yeah, that's my answer.
How much have you allowed yourself to like visualize what kind of damage you could do, you, Steph, JP, and Wiggs on the floor together?
Oh man, it's so exciting. I just tell myself, like, you know, let's get great shots. Who cares who leads the team in scoring? Who cares who makes the most threes? At the end of the season and years down the line, all that matters is if you won or not. That's you know, so even for me, like, I led this playoffs in points one season, but that season ended up being the hardest because we blew a 3-1 lead, only time in NBA history in the finals. So that's a good example of individual stats are overrated. Let's do this collectively, and let's just go out there and get the win, because that's what the fans really remember. No one remembers, I mean, obviously individual performances, but points leaders, rebounds leaders, that's cool, but we just want to win.
You talk about even kind of being excited, just the scrimmage and kind of taking day by day. Is that kind of your message to the young players who haven't been here quite yet? Is it a day by day thing and soak it all in?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, it's easy to look ahead to a finals or a West finals or a second round, but it's just a special opportunity being in the playoffs and practicing and getting ready and the preparation, all the little things. And I tell these young guys, don't worry about the future, because we don't even know if that's certain. So there's no point in even thinking about it. All you can control is how to get better today. And I think that mindset is applicable to any athlete or anybody who is trying to reach a goal. And it's that helps me just center myself and be present and enjoy this process.
And you guys won your first one when you're kind of an up and coming team, and obviously also when you're an experienced team. But for you, what's the difference as far as just having that experience in the playoffs? How valuable is that?
It's extremely valuable, especially as possessions are lessened and you don't get the same shots like you would in the regular season. And you go through the losses and the scrutiny. It's so important to lean on those past experiences of what made us successful, and that just reminds you of the big picture.
Klay, what are some examples of what Steph does behind the scenes when he's rehabbing that just allows him to step back on the court right away and be his dominant self again?
I would say just his time he spends in the gym. I mean, he's usually the first one in there. He's always last to leave the court. And when you just see him doing those things, it inspires every single person in this organization. So I think Steph is one of the hardest workers I've ever seen. And it's just an honor to be his teammate.
Let's do a couple on Zoom real quick. Jared Greenberg, go ahead.
Thank you, Ray. Klay, just piggybacking off of the comments you just made a couple of moments ago about your message to the young players, are there any specific anecdotes or examples that you lean on in your past that you have specifically told some of these young guys about what the playoffs are like or how to manage a postseason run?
Yeah, I say that year 2016 because of, I mean, it was just such an incredible year, 73 wins and coming back from 3-1 and losing a 3-1 lead. You know, learned so much from that season. We learned about the thrills of winning, but obviously even more the pain of defeat. And I can even remember back to that finals against Cleveland. We went up 3-1. I maybe unconsciously thought like, oh, we're going to have a parade, this and that, but the job wasn't finished, and you know, the rest is history. So that's, I mean, it still hurts. So, but you got to lean on those experiences. And then there's a clip of Kobe Bryant, the late great Kobe, rest in peace, to one of the greatest to ever do it, of him taught in the 09 finals, or 09. And I think he's at a press conference and somebody asked him, why isn't he happy? And he's just incredibly lasered in. He's talking about the job not being finished. So I try to show the young guys that clip and show them how even keeled he was and how he had his eyes set on something bigger than just a 2-0 lead.
And let me just follow up on one thing, Klay, just about your personal comeback this year. Did you find at all, you know, obviously we know that first game you were real excited against Cleveland and you were taking a lot of shots, but over the course of the weeks, did you figure out how to again adjust to play within the system that the Warriors are and who you are? Was it a progression for you to where you are today?
Oh yeah, no question. I did not expect to come back the first few games and be my all-star self. I knew that was going to take time and still will. And, you know, I just had to get used to playing every other day again. When you're off for 2 years, you just kind of complacent. Your emotions aren't as invested, and you don't feel the highs and lows of winning and losing. So for me, the biggest adjustment was just preparing myself to play, and yeah, that's simple. And obviously getting my legs under me and getting in game shape, but it was definitely a progression throughout the season, and it probably will be through the playoffs. But I'm just going to do what I did for these 32 games, and that's just stick with it and keep working as hard as I can, and the results will reveal themselves.
Thank you.
All right. Mark Medina, go ahead.
Hey, Clay, good to see you. So wondering, when you look at Jordan Poole's growth this entire season from now compared to his first 3 years in the league, what are his performances and the work behind the scenes that jump out to you the most, that kind of capture that growth?
I remember his rookie year when he would have a rough shooting night, he would go put up about 200 makes, and that reminded me of, you know, my younger self. I would not be a happy camper if I wasn't scoring the way I wanted to or shooting as efficiently as I knew I could. And when I saw Jordan doing those type of things, I knew he was going to have a really good career because he cares and he wants to be great. You know, you can talk about it, but I saw him putting in so much work, going down to the G League and getting buckets and running offenses. And he just is a real gym rat. And when you have a work ethic like that, that's half the battle of being great. Just be willing to outwork people.
Great. Thank you. A couple of quick more ones. Cyrus, go ahead.
Clay, I wanted to ask you a more lighthearted question, if that's okay. How is Rocco doing these days? And when you're really busy, like on a road trip or in a playoff hunt where you're not home that much, who's taking care of him?
That's a great question. Rocco will be 10 years old next week, and I'm so grateful to have a healthy bulldog. He's been such a blessing in my life. And when I'm on the road, I'll have my brother take care of him or a close friend. And he's an easy dog to watch, but I'm just grateful to have a healthy 10-year-old bulldog. He's been with me every step of this journey, and I'm a dog lover. So I love every minute I get to spend with Rocco.
Same. Thank you.
Problem.
And Mark Haynes, go ahead.
It was a great question.
Hey, Klay, when you look at the guys, the young guys and the players who haven't been in the playoffs before, can you look at them and see maybe how anxious they are to play, or, you know, do they look ready in your opinion?
Oh yeah, they look ready. They've been preparing for this all season, and I wouldn't say there's a lot of anxiousness or nerves. There might be in the first few minutes, but that will fade because at the end of the day, it's just basketball. It's what we've been programmed to do our whole life. So I just tell these young guys that treat it like any other game day. Obviously, the stakes are higher, but just be a great teammate, play your role, and have fun because it goes by so fast. And things change, so you got to appreciate what you have in the meantime.
All right, last one. Christos, go ahead.
Hey, Klay, hope you're doing well. Looking at your teammates and the work that you put in during the season, what makes you so confident going into the playoffs?
I would say our our chemistry as a team. You know, we have great young players. We got great veterans. A lot of us have been there before and done it, so we know what it takes. And we got a lot of young guys who are incredibly excited to have this opportunity. So that's a great mix. And we have yet to be whole. So I think that's scary for the rest of the league and very exciting for us. So I think we just got to take it one game at a time and enjoy every night we get to do this, because it's truly an honor to play NBA playoff basketball.
Nice.